Happy Mother's Day, not Pregnant People Day. Happy Mother's Day, not Birthing People Day. Happy Mother's Day, not Chest Feeding People Day. I know this sounds nuts and crazy, but we do live in a moment of life where legally, politically, socially, and culturally, language is very sexist and language is very misogynist. And being a mom is very exclusive because not all women now can get pregnant, because some men can get pregnant and not all women can get pregnant. So today, I wanted to kind of contend, wrestle, and dive into that very easy, simple, yet very complex question of what is woman? I know it's a very common sense question, but it is not very common. It's very simple, yet very complex. It's very cliche, yet for some reason, most politicians across time at this moment of time are unable to give you a simple answer of what is woman. What is woman? It's a very important question because funny, paradoxically, dumb, dark, yet hilarious enough, the first ever Prime Minister of Australia, Prime Minister Julia Gillard, who is woke, atheist, feminist, feminasty, the first ever woman Prime Minister in our nation. In fact, the first ever Prime Minister in our country that was actually publicly atheist, which is a big deal, very, very big deal. And she didn't even win the vote. She stole the Prime Minister's vote. So she's a loser because she didn't actually go for election. She wasn't elected or selected. She was actually stabbed someone to be in. But last year they asked the first ever woman Prime Minister of this country, Julia Gillard, what is woman? What is woman? And she was very confused. She didn't seem to want to answer this question. She didn't seem to want to wrestle with this question. She didn't seem to want to give a definition of this question. They were like, what is woman? In fact, the guy was so clear. It was like, hey, honey, are trans women? She's like, He's like, I'm going to make it a little bit easier for you. Do some women have penises? She's like, some women and some people are gender diverse. Some people are trapped in the wrong body and they want to be recognized by the gender that their mind and soul tells them what it is. So it's quite hilarious and mind-blowing that how the first ever woman Prime Minister doesn't know what woman is. So it's very paradoxical when even that very crazy moment of time that the first ever woman Prime Minister, even though she was the first woman Prime Minister, woman in power, even though she was literally in a women's conference about advancing women's rights, yet somehow she doesn't know she's a woman even though she is a woman. Somehow she doesn't know what is a woman even though she's the first Prime Minister who is a woman. Somehow she doesn't know what is a woman even though she is a women's conference to advance women's rights. So it's kind of crazy. And his answer with this, ancient Gnosticism, which is like, some people have a different gender stuck in their mind and soul, I would say. It's like I'm Andy, but I feel like Amy. I'm Andy, but little girl Amy stuck inside of me. So what is woman? Because trans women are women, which means women are men and men are women, which means you can be a man, but there is a girl called Amy stuck inside of you. You need to get her out. That's called Gnosticism. Next week, Pastor Andrew is preaching all things Gnosticism. Make sure you're here. It's going to be a very, very good sermon. But I'm Andy, but I feel like Amy. I'm a man, but there's a little girl stuck inside of me that I need to let her out. And in order for me to let her out, I need to cut and butcher my body part and cut my penis and make a hole in myself and try to make myself express that little woman girl is stuck inside of me. So woman is no longer a gender. Woman is no longer an identity. Womanhood is no longer a gift from the Lord, but womanhood now, it's an act that you put on. I'm a woman. I feel like a woman today. I woke up today and I felt like a woman. Woman is no longer a gender, an identity, and a gift given by God, particularly to women. So men are not women and women are not men. And if men are women and women are men, and everything is woman and there's a woman stuck in every man, side of every man, that means there is no woman. So what is woman? This is very, very important because woman is no longer a gender, an identity, a gift given by the Creator God, that women are made in the image of God. But now womanhood is an action, is a costume, is a pretense that you get to put on. So men can be women and women can be men, because being a man or being a woman, you just pretend to be a woman. You're pretending, you're acting acting, you're exaggerating. So womanhood is that thing that you put on to fake the world, because gender, sexuality, reality is a social construct, because God is a bigger and nature is a bigger and science is a bigger, because you're made a woman but you feel like a man, and you're made a man but you feel like a woman. In fact, English is now bigger. Everything is bigger. It's like English is so sexist. If you haven't heard, it's like you have like fisherman, milkman, chairman, businessman, gentleman, fireman. There is a man in everything. Even mangoes are racist. Mangoes. What about amen? It should be a woman. Believe it or not, I lost marks in my university degree when I was studying Bachelor of Theology, because I didn't say humankind, I said mankind. It was sexist language. My lecturer, my Christian worldview, Christian theology lecture told me I lost like 10% of my essay because my language wasn't gender inclusive. So fireman and milkman and fisherman and gentleman and businessman and taxman. So we need to decolonize language from sexism by making fireman firefighter. And businessman, businesswoman. And mangoes, we got to call them woman goes. And amen becomes a woman. So God is a bigger, nature is a bigger, and Christianity is so regressive, oppressive, suppressive, and not very progressive like the rest of the world. Christianity is anti-woman, and the Bible is not pro-women. So many Christians subscribe to feminist Jesus, to feminist Christianity, that you need to be a Christian and a feminist and a feminist and a Christian, because they have believed this massive lie that it was feminism that freed the woman, that it was feminism that liberated the woman, that it was feminism that gave rights to the woman, but more than anything, it was feminism that gave voice and virtue and value and dignity and preciousness to the woman. I'm like, not really, honey. No, it wasn't feminism. It was Christianity. It was the Christians. In fact, it was the Bible. Yeah, it wasn't feminism. And we have a lot of Christian feminists. Christian feminists, they're feminists who pretend to be Christians, or they are Christians who have been infiltrated, dominated, and manipulated by the wisdom of the age, by the spirit of the age, but more than anything, by the values of the age. If you're a Christian feminist, you have to pick one. You're either a feminist or you're a Christian, but you can't be both. So what Christian feminists are, they're feminists who pretend to be Christians, or they're Christians who have been indoctrinated, infiltrated, manipulated, and corrupted by the wisdom of the age, by spirit of the age, but more than anything, by the values of the age. Gender equity, gender equality, equality, diversity, inclusion, our mother in heaven, holy is your name. Why is God a father? Why is his pronouns he, him, not they, them, and she, shim, and tim, tam, and tom yum Asian soup? Why is God a man? That is not very equitable. Our mother in heaven, Karen is your name. We live in this moment of what I call Karen Christianity. If your name is Karen, I'm joking, it's a metaphor. What is Karen Christianity? It's a Christianity that is led and ruled particularly by women. It's a very, very important. It's in the Bible. You see that moment in Isaiah. Where you see that moment where the sinful nature since came into the world. The Bible said to Eve that you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you. So since sin entered the universe, so with that fight, that tension, that drama of leadership between men and women, female and male, husband and wife, and that's the reason you see this rise of toxic feminism. It's a very ancient reality and war since the beginning of time. And in Isaiah, you see God's judgment on a nation. Look what he said. He said, childish leaders oppress my people, and women rule over them. This is one of the signs of godlessness and wrath and God's judgment. You start to see mostly women reigning over men. It's very important. You saw it during the Donald Trump, if you guys remember the election of the last years. Donald Trump was a man. He like smashed Comrade Kamala and Hillary Clinton. Like he smashed them. Like legit. And it's kind of sad, and it's kind of not kind, and it's kind of not fair getting a very powerful, influential woman to run against a very powerful, high IQ, very competent man, right? We live in this moment of time where we're no longer kind to women. We expect women to act like men. We expect women to be men. And this is not fair, not on the men, actually on the women. I'm like, of course Donald Trump is going to smash both of you, Hillary and Comrade Kamala. Of course. He's a very competent, high IQ man. It's not fair. It's not kind. It's not wise. And that's not sexism and misogyny and all that bullcrap. No. That is the truth. It's not fair to put a woman that is created to love, to nurture, to lead and to be in power, and to twist her nature. So men are becoming women and women are becoming men. So men are becoming women and women are becoming men. And you get the feminist feminazi, they come after the church and say, Christianity, you guys didn't do anything for the woman. The Bible is regressive. The Bible is oppressive. The Bible is suppressive. The Bible is not progressive. It was the feminists that gave the woman the rights to vote. It was the feminists that gave the woman the right to be precious. It was the feminists that gave the woman the ability to be strong. It was the feminists that made it flourish, baby, flourish. And it's time for you to flourish. It was the feminists. I'm like, no, honey. It was the Bible. It was the Bible. Have you happened to read your Bible? Have you happened to open, not the second page, just the first page of the Bible? So you figured out with all this Christian feminist feminazi, all these feminists, somehow, somewhere, they believe that you need something on top of Jesus. You need something apart from the Bible. You need something apart from Christianity. They have been indoctrinated and infiltrated to think it was feminism that gave women rights, value, preciousness, worth, and dignity. Not really, honey. Not really. All you need to do is to open the first page of the Bible. All you need to do is to read the actual Bible. All you need to do is to buy a Bible. All you need to do is to study the first page of the Bible. Oh wait, you don't even own the Bible. You've never even read the Bible, but you claim to talk about the Bible. Look what Genesis 1 said. Very, very important. Because this is the first page of the Bible. All my feminist feminazis, all my Christian feminists, all my Karens and Darrens. You got Karen and you got Darren. What is Karen? Karen is that very domineering woman lusting over power. It's about usurping men, killing babies. We have a lot of them around now. Most women believe that abortion is healthcare. We have that very ancient current condition of Karen. In the Bible, it's called Jezebel. And her husband, Darren. In the Bible, it's called Ahab. So you got Karen and Darren. Darren and Karen. And what Darren is, he's a weak, emasculated, fearful, hypersensitive man. He's neutered, castrated, metaphorically. So he doesn't have courage, strength, or ability to stand up, speak up, and fight. He's just like my dog, castrated and desexed. Desexed. They don't have conviction. They don't have courage. They don't have a voice. They're unable to speak up, stand up, and fight. And this is literally what you see at the moment. Men who act like women, weak, barren men, castrated, snip, snap, they've been snip, snapped. Literally snapped, castrated, effeminate, neutered, weak, woke, and cowards. They're cowards, and that's why they're apathetic. That's why they're apathetic, and they see it now. You see, like every single year, 73 million babies die by abortion. Every single year in the world, 73 million babies die. That is 200,000 babies every single day. That is 2 babies every single second. Every single second, 2 babies die. 2, 4, 6. And while the feminist feminazis are shouting and screaming about abortion, those men are weak, woke, sensitive, and cowards. Scream your abortion, baby! I'm like, no, I'm gonna speak. I'm so scared. I don't want to be sexist. I don't want to be misogynist. Every single second, 2 babies are killed, butchered, stabbed, crushed, poisoned, and vacuumed, then chucked in the bin. Every single second across the world, 2 babies die. By the end of this sermon, 6,000 babies will be killed, butchered by abortion, and men are silent and men are quiet. And this is a sad, horrific reality, is that children tend to be the victims of God-hating civilizations. It's not the men. So to all my feminist feminazis, it's actually the children that are getting the consequences, and it's actually the women that are getting the consequences. Right now, it is virtuous and honorable to put women in the front line of war. How crazy. Like, we live in a moment of time, some women consider it equality that let's send women to war, put them on the front, and get them to die. Kids, children, and women tend to be the victims of God-hating societies and civilizations. It's not the strong men, it is the weak women and vulnerable children that cannot fight, speak, or defend themselves that end up being the victims of godless civilization. So this is kind of the moment that we live in. But look quickly at Genesis 1. You see that moment. See, the Bible is a foundation. The Bible is a principle. The Bible is a pathway. The Bible is the source. And the Bible is the foundation reality for all human rights. It's very, very important. That's why when you go to the Middle East and Islam, there's no human rights. That's why when you go to Buddha in China and then become communist, and you go to Buddha and in India and Buddha in Thailand, there is no human rights. And the reason there is no human rights is because there is no Bible. So the Bible is the foundation. The Bible is the principle. The Bible is the definition of human rights, particularly women's rights. So dignity, value, identity, worth, and definition and meaning for women, it actually comes from the Bible. It doesn't just come from the Bible, it actually comes from the first page in the Bible. First page. Page number 1 to all my feminists, just the first page. So God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God, he created them male and female. Men and women are equal in value, but they're not equal in function. They're equal in reflecting the glory of God, but they're not equal in purpose. They're equal in importance, but they're not equal in their job. And you got the feminist feminazi, they're like, the gender pay gap and the equity and the women's rights and the women's equity. And by equity and equality, they don't mean equity and equality. See, when feminists say equality, they mean equity. Equality is equal opportunity. Equity is equal outcome, which is what you call in the good old days communism and socialism. I know, you're like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah. So when godless feminists and politicians, left-wing politicians say equity, they mean socialism. So at the moment you have this like gender socialism, this sex socialism, this feminism socialism. It's not a conspiracy. Like the Russian Revolution happened on Women's Rights Day. In your own time, make sure you study. The Communist Revolution in Russia in 1901 was sparked on Feminism Day. So when you say Happy International Women's Day, what you're really saying, Happy Communism Day. I always make fun of people that, Happy International Women's Day. I'm like, Happy Communism Day, idiot. Literally. I'm not joking to you. That is actually the celebration. It's like Easter for the communists. So, when they say equality, they mean equity. When they say equity, they mean socialism. When they say socialism, they mean sex socialism, gender socialism. And they talk about the gender pay gap, which is like a conspiracy theory. Like it's illegal in all Christian Western countries, from America to Australia to UK to Canada to New Zealand. It's illegal to pay a woman and a man different for the exact same job. So that's a well-known fact. It's illegal in Australia. It's the law. Literally, it's the law. It's illegal to pay a woman less than a man for doing the exact same job, for fulfilling the exact same role, and for having the exact same results, outcome, and KPI. So this gender equality stuff, it's socialism, it's communism rebranded. It's very, so women and men, they're equal in value, but they're not equal in function. And the foundation of that principle is the image of God. So it was the Bible that gave women rights. It was Christianity that said God created people in his own image, male and female. It was Christianity that said women are made in the image of God and they have equal legal voice. It was Christianity that gave women a voice. It was Christianity that criminalized sex slavery. It was Christianity that made it punishable by castration and by death to rape women. It was Christianity, not feminism. Honey, it was Christianity. It was the Bible. It was the first page. in the Bible. What about the woman of faith in the Bible? Have you heard about Rebecca? Have you heard about Eve? Have you heard about Sarah? Have you heard about Rachel? Have you heard about Esther? Have you heard about Deborah? Have you heard about Bathsheba? Have you heard about Rahab? Have you heard about Mary, mother of Jesus? Have you heard about Mary Magdalene? Have you heard of the woman that was caught in adultery and Jesus told her, neither do I condemn you, go and sin no more. Wait, you haven't read your Bible? It's hilarious when you meet all these women. Yeah, the Bible is regressive. Christianity is so oppressive. The fishermen and the businessmen and the milkmen and the God is a man. Christianity is sexist. Christianity is misogynist. I'm like, what do you mean? Have you heard about Eve, the mother of many, the mother of humanity that was created in the image of God, by God, for the glory of God, equal to Adam? Have you heard about Sarah, that she became the mother of faith, the mother of Israel? She was literally mentioned in Hebrews 11 as a hero of faith, that it was by faith that Abraham had a child in her old age. It was by faith. What about Deborah? She was a prophet, a military leader, and a judge. She literally led the people of God to victory because the men at the time, they were soy boys and weak. What about Rahab the prostitute? She was literally a prostitute and God used a prostitute. What about Bathsheba? She was sexually defiled and coerced by King David to sleep with him, and she still made it to the lineage of Jesus. What about Tamar? She literally got raped. Very horrific event, and somehow, somewhere you find her in Matthew 1 being part of the bloodline of Jesus. What about Esther, that saved the Jews and saved the people of God from annihilation? What about Mary, mother of God, mother of Jesus, the savior of the world? What about Mary Magdalene, who was demonically possessed and a prostitute, but she got saved by the grace of God, and she didn't get just saved, she became the first witness to the resurrection. Okay. God has used every single type of people, women, men, husbands, wives, male and female, and the foundation of human rights, the foundation of women's rights. The foundation of women's dignity and value comes from the Bible, because across time, space, and culture, from Buddhism to Islam to secularism to socialism to atheism, you never actually found women's rights. Human rights are founded on the first page of the Bible. The more you lose the first page of the Bible, the less rights all women will have. For example, in Islam, a woman's testimony, a woman's legal voice is equal to half of a man. In Islam, a man can have 4 wives. A woman is only allowed to have one husband. So polygamy is allowed only for men. And then they tell you the Bible is so oppressive and Islam is a religion of peace. Somehow, somewhere, the feminists and the Muslims really like each other. I'm not sure how. Not just that, if you make it to heaven, if you make it to the Muslim heaven, every man will get to sleep around with 3 to 4 wives and 2 to 72 forever useful versions. It's like a sex brothel, the heaven of the Islam. It's very weird. And women will only get their husband or one young man. So that's very crazy. Not just that. In Islam, women get half of the inheritance of a man. So a woman's legal voice is equal to half of a man. A woman's legal inheritance is equal to half of a man. In fact, Muhammad called women deficient in their intellect. He called them stupid. And not just that, he called them, they're half-brained. He said that women have half a brain. They're very stupid. And I'm like, and then they say, Islam is a religion of peace, and Christianity is very oppressive and suppressive. And when it's funny enough, they literally brought a woman that committed adultery to Muhammad. Literally. The exact same event, the exact same circumstance, the exact same experience, the exact same reality happened to Muhammad. They brought him a woman caught in adultery. So the exact same experience, they brought Jesus a woman caught in adultery, and they brought Muhammad a woman caught in adultery. On the other hand, the woman in Jesus' time, she was caught. The woman that came to Muhammad, she wasn't caught, she confessed. Jesus told the woman, neither do I condemn you, go and sin no more. Muhammad condemned the woman to death by stoning. That was God's response and Jesus' response to the woman caught of adultery, that he told her, I redeemed you, I freed you, I forgive you, I released you, I saved you, I delivered you, I have life for you. Muhammad's response to that woman, Muhammad's response to that particular woman was condemn her to death. That woman caught in adultery. She came and confessed her adultery to the false, fake, violent, and demonically inspired Prophet Muhammad. And he condemned her to death by stoning. Same experience, same sin, two different responses. Because Jesus came for you to have life and life to the full. But the devil came to kill and steal and destroy. It was Christianity that defended women. It was Christianity that honored women. It was Christianity that loves women. It was Christianity that protected women. This is the reason, for some reason, all the progressive, they, them, Kamala Harris, she literally passed a law to make men compete in women's sports. So bashing women now is not domestic violence, it's sport. You can bash a woman if you pretend to be a woman. To all my abusive men. If you claim to be a woman, you can bash a woman. How awesome. Bashing women now is now a sport. Like if you happen to love bashing people, so now you have men competing with women who are biologically, physiologically, emotionally very, very different. Obviously, a man is stronger than a woman is not a man, and a man is not a woman. God made them differently, and obviously you shouldn't get women and men who are biologically very, very different to compete with each other. But right now, people believe that literally, Julia Gillard is one of these people. She literally changed the law. This is hilarious. Told my feminist feminazi that you celebrated Julia Gillard becoming the first Prime Minister of Australia. Women power, women power, women power. She literally abolished or liberated, removed, and changed the legal and political definition of woman. She literally changed it. She literally changed it to mean that some women can have a penis. I'm like, this is radical. I'm like, yeah, that's actually what happened. Right now in Australia, legally and politically, a woman can have a penis if she feels like it. Right now in Australia, the definition of woman is trans women are women, which means men are women, and women are men, which means there is no womanhood. It's a very obvious reality that the more you remove God, the more women get injured. So now, instead of men providing for women and loving women and protecting women, you have men using women. And what feminism did is that, number one, it made lust cool, free love. Free love. You can sleep with a woman and not marry her. I'm like, how progressive? And you know who's the one getting scammed? It's the woman. It's not the man. If I wasn't a Christian, I wouldn't get married. Why should I get married? It doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't benefit me. Men like sex, women like love. That's just the reality. So guess who was obliterated, destroyed, dismantled by toxic feminism? It was the woman. It wasn't the men. The men are sweet. So lust became free love. And the consequences of your lust, a baby, became murder. And the person that actually feels it, it's not the man, it's the woman. It's very, very sad. Me and Pastor Andrew were in a life center, a family life center in Georgia a few months ago. And it was kind of mind-blowing because we got to figure out 80 to 90% of women, after they see the baby, in the x-ray image of the baby, 80 to 90% of them will change their mind to not have an abortion. And this gets worse. 70 to 80% of women that have an abortion were forced by men. So we were with an awesome team. They have a lot of money and they had all an amazing thing. They saved like 100,000 babies a year from abortion. So they're literally a family center. And it was very mind-blowing because they told me, we have to split the man from the woman because it's a man that's gonna make the woman have an abortion. And then they tell you abortion is woman's right. Abortion is health care. My body, my choice. I'm like, what do you mean? The victim of feminism is not the man, it's a woman. Now women are running around pretending to be men. Now women are running around trying to provide like men. Now women are running around trying to be something they were never designed or manufactured to be. And it is very deadly and it's very, very damaging. And now we have 73 million babies dying every year. 73 million babies under the name of abortion. And now you're seeing the consequences why the Christians and the leftists and the atheists are killing their babies. Islam is pumping babies like never before. That's what's going to happen. What's going to happen across the West, which is already happening in the United Kingdom, which already happened in Europe, which already happened in Belgium, which already happened in Germany, is that Islam will be God's judgment on nations like Australia for choosing to reject the God of ancestors and choosing to men, women, men, but more than anything, for choosing to kill the next generation under the disguise of free healthcare and under the disguise of my body by choice. So while Muslims are pumping babies, Christians are performing abortion and killing their babies, while the feminists are shouting, my body, my choice, abortion is healthcare. Most pastors are very scared and fearful and hyper-empathetic and hypersensitive to not defend the rights of the unborn, while Christians are casually voting for gay marriage, which means most Christians now are kind of gay. They can't have kids. Islam is spreading like the virus. That's why the most common baby name in London at the moment for 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, guess what's the most common name in London at the moment? It's not Oliver. It's not Peter Pan. It's not Charles Dickens. It's not Winston Churchill. It's Muhammad. The most common name right now in London, in England, and in Wales is Muhammad. The most common baby name from 2019 to 2024. It's the most common name, not just in England, not just in London, not just in the United Kingdom, not just in Wales. Actually, in Brussels and Belgium. Brussels and Belgium. The most common name in Brussels and Belgium is Muhammad. The most common name in Berlin, in Germany, it's not Hitler, it's Muhammad. Hitler will be very upset right now. Like, what? The most common name in Oslo, in Norway, is Muhammad. The most common name in Amsterdam, in Netherlands, is Muhammad. The mayor of London at the moment is a Muslim. The mayor of Oldham at the moment is a Muslim. The mayor of Camden in UK at the moment is Muslim. The mayor of Oxford is Muslim. Islam is God's judgment on a nation and a civilization that chooses to kill and butcher the babies for the sake of convenience and for the sake of a better future. And it's time for the men and the women to stand up and speak up for those who cannot speak from themselves. You can't be silent. You can't be quiet. Particularly women, just like Esther. God called you for a moment like this. Mordecai told Esther, if you keep silent in a moment like this, deliverance will arise from somewhere else. Who knows if God called you for such a time like this? See, the women in the Bible are very courageous, are very bold, and very brave. You see a moment in time where Esther literally gave up her life to save the Jewish community once and for all. Who knows if God called you, all the women of this house, because abortion will be ended by women and not men. Because it's your body and your kid. It's not going to be men, and this is the beauty of this moment. If you keep silent, and I said, God used Esther, a very bold, brave woman in the Bible. And Mordecai told her, if you keep silent in moments like this, deliverance will arise from somewhere else, and you and your children will die. So this is the thing. Abortion will be aborted. Abortion will be eliminated. Abortion will be ended. That's just a fact. See, the arc of history always tends to bend towards justice. Eventually Hitler will go. Eventually Nero will die. Eventually slavery will end. Eventually racism will be considered that. Eventually somewhere, somehow, someone will wake the hell up. So the question is abortion going to be aborted? Is abortion going to end? If abortion is going to land once and for all, the question is it going to be you or who? This is what the coward men stuck in a woman's body, they, them, silent, castrated pastors fail to realize. Abortion will end with you or without you. God's purpose, evil and justice will end with you or without you. The question is it going to be you? And God used every type of woman. God was telling Esther, if you keep silent, you will die, but deliverance will still come. Deliverance is coming. That's why people also tell people in Australia that day will come where everybody's going to know that abortion was not healthcare, but abortion was genocide. It's going to come. History will not be very kind to this nation. And God is not going to be very kind to a nation that chooses to butcher and cut the next generation for the sake of convenience. There will come a moment there's going to be judgment. There will come a moment where justice will arise. And the question is it going to happen, but are you going to be part of it when it happens? If it's not me, then who? If it's not now, then when? If it's not my problem, then whose problem? Deliverance is coming, and you get to choose if you want to be part of it or not. So God used every type of woman, prostitutes, foreigners, raped and sexually defiled, pagans, holy, young and beautiful, old and as good as dead, virgins and prostitutes. God used every single type of woman in the Bible, from Bathsheba, who was sexually defiled by David and coerced to sleep with him, to Rahab, who was literally a prostitute, to Mary Magdalene, who was a prostitute yet somehow was saved by the grace of God. God uses every type of person. The question is it going to be you? Is it going to be you? Let me talk to the men for a moment, because we've been trying to dig what is woman, but I also want to dig what is man. Because they're both confused. Because men can get pregnant now. It's like, wow. Pregnant men. That's like the future will be not very kind to me. They're going to watch my sermon like, these guys are so stupid. I'm like, yeah, it's not my fault. It's the people I lead. You. No, I'm joking. But it's not my fault. It's literally the time I live in. It's a very weird, it's like, what is woman? What is man? But men across time and our current culture have been emasculinated. It's very, very important. At the moment we have women acting like men and men acting like women. Women pretending to be men and women pretending to be men and men pretending to be women. So instead of women being women, women are becoming men. Instead of men being men, men are becoming women. So we no longer have masculine Christianity and feminine Christianity. We have feminine young girls who are acting feminists and they're rejecting their femininity. We have masculine men who are rejecting their masculinity as toxic masculinity and acting like women. So women are feminist and not feminine. And men are feminized and not masculine. And this is a sad reality, is that feminism is the enemy of femininity. See, femininity is beautiful. Femininity is virtuous. Femininity is kind. It's very kind when a woman is beautiful. Like you see me and Nolene, you don't want her to be strong. You don't want her to be aggressive. You don't want her to be, I'm a woman boss. I'm the boss baby mama. I'm the boss woman. I'm like, no. You need men to act like men and women to act like women. So women, choose femininity and not feminism. And men, choose biblical masculinity. Not to be womanized, feminized, and weak. Because both men and women, I'm saying both of them, they are both crafted, created in the image of God. It's beautiful, it's amazing when women act like women. It's beautiful and it's amazing when men act like men. It is beautiful. We need to make men men again, and we need to make women women again. We need to make men masculine again, and we need to make women feminine again. Femininity is beautiful. Feminism is ugly. Femininity is kind. Feminism is aggressive. Femininity is virtuous. Feminism is rebellion. Femininity is a woman acting like a woman. Feminism is a woman pretending to be a man. Look, last week there was a very cool event that took place in America. One of my favorite people is the current Secretary of State for President Donald Trump in the White House, Peter Hegseth. Very, very cool guy. I like him. He's a Christian nationalist. He's a pretty much reformed Christian, woman not preaching, Calvinist, evangelical, you name it. All the stuff that the Australian media hates, it's him. It's him. Like, he literally gets, quickly going to come on the screen. Donald Trump gets like 94% negative coverage. He gets 100% negative coverage. So Elon Musk gets like 96% negative coverage on the news. RFK, or the anti-vaxxers, he gets 89% coverage, bad coverage on the news. Peter Hegseth, he gets 100% bad coverage on the news. And it's very crazy because he's the leader of the most powerful, loaded, and lethal army in the history of humanity. He's the head of the army, he's the head of the navy, he's the head of the space force, he's the head of the air force. He happened to control and lead the most powerful army in the history of humanity, which is pretty cool if you're a man, right? It's kind of cool. You get to protect people, you get to protect your nation, you get to protect your country, and that's why when the nation becomes feminine and feminized, it becomes weak, and eventually the judgment of God, it looks like the invasion of a nation. You can literally read it across Isaiah. Nations invaded, women raped, young youthful men slaughtered by war, and kids becoming slaves. That's literally the consequence of not masculine nations. It's a consequence. It's very cool. He leads the biggest army in the world. The current budget of the United States of America's army is $849 billion. Pretty good, right? Pretty good that we kind of have a Christian country with that much military. You definitely don't want China to be that guy. China's budget at the moment is like $350 billion, which is like, American budget is 3 times more than the Chinese budget and 5 times more than the Russian budget, which is pretty cool, right? The Australian budget is very tiny. We have like $40 billion a year. Our budget for military is 40% of America's budget. America has 2.1 million men fighting for war. We have 70,000 men for war. So we're kind of screwed. But then you find people hating leadership, hating masculinity, hating America. Well, I'm like, yeah, the problem in Australia is that our parliament doesn't have any power or sovereignty. We don't even have the power behind our word. It's quite problematic. So I'm going to quickly dig in that guy because talking about masculine Christianity, Peter Hegseth is a very, very cool guy. And it's very important. Look what he said last week. We're leaving wokeness. We're leaving weakness. No more pronouns. No more climate change obsession. No more emergency vaccine mandates. No more dudes in dresses. Anybody sick of going to Sydney and watching men in dresses? Like, bro, what is wrong with you? Do your fetish in your bedroom. No more pronouns. No more climate change obsession. No more dudes in dresses. We're done with that crap. How cool is that? I was just checking him out this week. Not because I have a crush on him, just to check him out. Like after seeing him, I felt like I'm not a man. I need a lot of upgrade to do. Look quickly. I want you to look quickly on he has a very interesting tattoo, which is a Jerusalem cross. This is a cross that was waved during the Crusades in the 11th and the 13th century. It's very, very massive because at this point of time, all the Christian church across the Middle East or across the ancient West were destroyed. You had the church in Jerusalem was destroyed and all liberated by Islam in 638 AD. You had the church in Antioch that was destroyed by Islam in 636 AD. You have the church of Alexandria that was destroyed in 641 AD. You had the church of Constantinople that later was destroyed in 1400 AD. You had the 4 biggest churches in the West destroyed, conquered by Islam. There was only one church left. It was the Church of Rome and the Church of Italy. But quickly, that was a Jerusalem cross. It was a sign of biblical masculinity, of godly masculinity, of masculine Christianity, of men standing to fight for the family, for the children, for the wife, for the country, for the nation, for the land. And that's why it's not a coincidence that the more godless a nation becomes, the less manly the people become. It's not that is just a natural consequence, because the foundation of Christianity is the cross. The meaning of the cross is sacrifice. When a nation worships the cross, by nature, it becomes about sacrifice. A man sacrifices his life for his family. A man sacrifices his life for his children. A man sacrifices his life for his kids. A man sacrifices his life for his country. It's by nature. You get duty, virtue, sacrifice, masculinity from Christianity. The same way you get womanhood from Christianity, you also get masculinity from Christianity. So it's kind of a cool tattoo. It was crazy. It gets crazier. Just on his hand, he has that very interesting saying, Dios, what was it? Dios something. Dios volt, which really literally means God's will. God's will. This was the battle cry of the Crusaders from 1100s to 1400s, as they decided to declare war on Islamic Jerusalem to bring the Holy Land back to the Christian reign. Not just that, he's crazy. He got my favorite tattoo. Just under his right arm, you'll see under his arm, he got this word kafir, which is the Muslim Arabic word for infidel. Which is crazy. Like if you read the Quran said, kill the infidel wherever you find them. He's saying, I'm the infidel, come and kill me. So I want to get that tattoo. I just will get it when I can afford full-time security 24/7. That's going to be my tattoo. So I'm very excited for that in the future. But this is my point. This is the job of a man, to be strong and courageous and fight. And this is the job of a woman, to be brave, courageous, but feminine, beautiful, kind, and submissive. And it's very beautiful when men act like men and fight and protect and sacrifice. And it's very, very beautiful when women act like women and they're courageous and brave and kind and gentle and not domineering and not power usurping and not trying to control men. It is very beautiful when women are feminine, and it's very powerful when men are masculine. So we need to make men again, and we need to make women again. We need to bring God back to the identity of humanity, that God made both of them, male and female, equal in His own image.